Stand by for Bwana.org radio. In 3, 2, 1. Cue the announcer.
You found Bwana.org radio, your one source for tech news and reviews. Now, almost live from sunny Florida, here's your host, Bwana McCall.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to episode 246 of Bwana.org radio. We got a great show lined up for you. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back. I had to succumb to the will of the internets on Thursday. I lost my internet connection pretty much almost the entire day, so I couldn't do a show. But I'm back now. A lot of people on YouTube are missing me, so that's a good sign. That means I'm doing something right. People are posting on random videos over there. Where's BDOR? Where's BDOR? And just think a couple months ago, nobody had a clue what a BDOR was. But people are starting to like the show, so I'm going to keep on doing it as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? We got a giant show lined up today. 17 whole bookmarks. I'm going to try to blow through. Go through very, very quickly. Try to keep the show under minutes. I know if I say a number, I'm going to go over it. So I'm going to keep it under minutes. And we'll see about getting it done, shall we? So let's just not dibber-dabber. Let's not chit-chat anymore. Let's just get right into it, shall we? We got a great show lined up for episode 246 of Bwana.org radio, boy.
It's time for Bwana.org radio's tech news for this week.
And for our first story, we're going to jump right into the biggest story the past week, even the past month. And I posted a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/IOBUFFA or IOBuffer. Go up there and check them out. These are my reactions to what Gizmodo has done. Apparently, Gizmodo landed an early copy of an iPhone prototype. And there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but to make a long story short, the phone was supposedly lost in a bar near the Apple campus. It was supposedly lost in the bar. It was supposedly found at that same bar. The person who found it apparently tried to contact Apple and the owner, whichever. This is all according to Gizmodo. They couldn't contact the owner. So they sold it to Gizmodo. Gizmodo purchased it for $5,000. And Gizmodo outed it. They said, here's the next iPhone. They were very confident about it. And they basically took a lot of heat for their next step. They outed the guy who lost it. He was an Apple software engineer. They basically posted his picture, his Facebook profile, his name, and everything. Basically put him out on Front Street. Said, here's the guy who did it. That was kind of a bad move. I don't think it was a good move, but that's what they did. And the final thing, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to talk about in today's show, is that Apple sent them a letter, sent Gizmodo a letter, and they basically said they want our device back. So this is how it happened. All that happened, and Gizmodo, they posted their reply to Apple's letter. First off, let me tell you what the letter says from Apple. It says, this is from Apple's, let's see, he's Senior VP and General Counsel. I want to make sure I get his name right, Bruce Sewell. And he's in a letter to Brian Lamb. Says, it has come to our attention that Gizmodo is currently in possession of a device that belongs to Apple. This letter constitutes a formal request that you return the device to Apple. Please let me know where to pick up the unit. And then they replied, Bruce, thanks. Here's Jason Chen, who has the address. Here's his address. You two should coordinate a time. Happy to have you pick this thing up. Was burning a hole in our pockets. Just so you know, we didn't know this was stolen. As they might have claimed, meaning really and truly from Apple, it was found and to be of unproven origin when we bought it. Now that we definitely know it's not some knockoff and it is really Apple's, I'm happy to see it return to the rightful owner. P.S. I hope you take it easy on the kid who lost it. I don't think he loves anything more than Apple. Now, guys, if you've been following this story, I mean, you got to raise your eyebrows. Go check out my videos on my thoughts. It's a lot of double speak going on here. I think we all know Gizmodo was 96.843% sure that that was Apple's property. I think Gizmodo was also very, very, in a high percentage number, sure that the phone was missing / stolen. And to make matters worse, it's I don't know. And I'm linking to Tuwa because I'm not happy with Gizmodo. Gizmodo has their own article. I'm finding myself not wanting to link to Gizmodo anymore because I'm not agreeing with their principles and how they're doing things. But to make matters worse, from the sound of the article from when I originally read, I don't know if they've changed it since then, they weren't going to return the iPhone to Apple until they got a public notice or a public letter requesting it. That is why this letter was worded as, this letter constitutes a formal request. They wanted Apple to come out in the public and say that we want the iPhone back. Why? Because they can convey it to us. Hey, Gizmodo, we were right. We were right. This is Apple's iPhone. See the letter, see, and they get hundreds of thousands of hits. So this is a prototype. And Gizmodo jumped through a whole bunch of hoops. And I think a lot of us who don't like what Gizmodo did are kind of rooting against them now. And that's not the right thing to do, but it's hard not to resist that. We're kind of hoping that this is a prototype that Apple's not going to use. Because we know, those of us who are in the know, that companies have multiple prototypes. A lot of us are like, oh man, we wish that there is because they are skating on a bunch of laws with this. They're really, in gray areas, and I'm going to talk about that next, about the possibility of them breaking some laws with doing this. So check this out, guys. There's a lot behind this. I didn't cover it all. I want you guys to see it for yourself. Read it for yourself, interpret it for yourself, and formulate your own opinion. Because the videos I posted were my opinion. They're not necessarily factual on the opinion piece. The factual piece was. So check it out. This is over on tuwa.com. They got a link to Gizmodo. Like I said, I'm not linking to Gizmodo if I can help it. So check it out. Now, the next story is a great article. And this is from Technovia, UK site. Ian Betteridge wrote a great article. He claims not to be a lawyer, but he plays one on weekends. But this is a very well-written article. And it says, has Gizmodo broken any laws? Have they broken the law with his iPhone story? And he goes into detail. He goes into gratuitous detail on the various laws that could possibly come into play. And then he goes on to express whether he thinks Gizmodo or the person who found the phone is liable or will be convicted in court, in his opinion. So, the first one is trade secrets. And based on what he's putting in this article, I'm not a lawyer either, so I'm not even going to try to play one. But I want to convey this article to you. He said, based on the trade secrets law, he doesn't believe that Gizmodo or the guy will fall into that because the item wasn't public. It was placed in a public place. It was apparently left in a public place. Maybe it was stolen in a public place. But the fact that it was in a public place kind of dismisses the fact that it can fall on the trade secret law. I'm trying to paraphrase. If I get something wrong, guys, let me know. He also goes into lost property law. Now he says that the key to lost property law is that they need to return it in a reasonable amount of time. They need to contact the owner if you know or suspect who it is. Based on what Gizmodo posted on their blog post, their initial blog post and following blog post, the people who found the phone knew who the guy was. They could see his Facebook profile. They could, they had access to his information. This was before Apple or whoever sent the spike to the thing via MobileMe and basically bricked it. Not bricked it, but put it into a state to where they can use it. So they know who the guy was. And the question comes up as to whether they exhibited or they got into contact with the guy within a reasonable amount of time. That's the lost property law of California law. And he says that it may or may not fall under that. It depends on interpretation. It depends on Gizmodo's defense. It depends on what kinds of effort the guy made. Apparently, according to Gizmodo, the guy called Apple and did some support tickets, or basically opened a ticket with a help desk. And keep in mind that this place is very close to Apple. He could have drove in. He could have returned it. I mean, he or she knew that this was this was a new iPhone. This wasn't something that's already out there. And then he went off and sold it to Gizmodo. And that's the next thing. He says theft or stolen property. He says the finder may get himself into criminal trouble because he says anybody who finds a lost property or appropriates such property for his own use or the use of another person entitled without first making reasonable and just efforts to find the owner and restore the property to him is guilty of theft. So this is different from the return property. This is theft or stolen property. Again, this falls into the reasonable time frame and reasonable and just. And apparently this guy, I don't know if he made enough effort to return it. So according to this guy's article, this guy at technovia.co.uk, he states in his conclusions, let me try to wrap this up, that they may be liable, the guy who found it, he may be charged for the theft thing. And but as far as trade secrets, that may not be an issue. Gizmodo may find itself in court for purchasing the stolen property if they can convince the prosecutor or the jury or whoever that they didn't know it was stolen. They can get off, apparently, according to this article. Lots and lots of legalese, lots of great comments at this article. And like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but common sense, I'm a common sense guy. Common sense says that Gizmodo was skating on the edge of the law. I think a lot of people know that. I think even Gizmodo knows that. I think Apple knows that. They were skating on the edge of the law when they did this. The phone was missing. Here's a high value, this is a multi-billion-dollar company who just announced earnings today. It was in the billions. And one of the factors of these billions of dollars was this device. And the possibility of this device coming out, and a new device coming out in June. And this is billions of dollars on the line. Here's a device they knew. And Gizmodo knew also that they could profit from it. They knew that they could make a lot of money if they say, hey, we got the new iPhone. Here it is. And just today, they posted a new article. They gutted the thing. They took it completely apart from every piece. So they knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew exactly what they were doing. I think they're playing coy. That's what a lot of people say. They're playing coy. They're saying one thing, but we all know and they know that they're up to another thing. And that to me is sickening. That's just classic deception, and I can't stand it. So you guys keep reading Gizmodo. I'm not going to read. I already made a promise a long time ago that I'm not going to read Gizmodo. The only Gizmodo links people submit or share to me. Ever since the CES event and the whole Flickr censorship thing, I just don't like how they do things. So check it out. Lots and lots of stuff regarding this iPhone thing. Like I said, I got videos up there. There's lots of stuff going on. Lots of opinions flying around. So check it out. Now we're going to get off of that. And we're going to talk about Flash a little bit. The next article I'm going to talk about is very, very interesting. Because it's something that I kind of knew, but I really didn't have plausible evidence. But this article kind of states something that kind of ring a bell. It says why the iPhone didn't support Flash in 2007. And I got a picture of this guy. I didn't want him to come up, but let's click him again to go away. He won't go away. But anyway, this article states that the people behind Flash, Adobe, they just released a press release that they have a number of excited partners who are working aggressively with us to bring Flash to their devices. And they're going to be available the second half of this year. This is 2010. So they're bringing Flash to competitive phones in Q2 2010. But people were complaining that the iPhone didn't have Flash in 2007. So that's what this article is stating. Flash isn't ready for the phones, guys. It isn't ready. I mean, back then and even now, a lot of phones use Flashlight, which everybody knows is complete. Well, everybody may know. Flashlight is pretty bad. It's in bad shape. I've used it. I didn't like it. I can't stand it. It just makes a valid point. They don't have it working now. How could they have it working back then? Why are people complaining that the iPhone doesn't have Flash now, and Adobe can't even get it working on everybody else's phone right now? So they got work to do. That's what I've been saying. Flash is lacking. It needs some development. It needs some tweaking. It needs some tuning before it can work on the iPhone. That's what Steve Jobs has been saying. That's what everybody's been saying, except Adobe. Adobe's like, oh, you can get Flash to work. Well, no, it'll crash the phone. And that's what they're working on now. That's why you don't see a lot of phones now with Flash on there, because it doesn't work. So, and if you see Flash on a phone today, like I said, Flashlight is terrible. There may be some other phones out there, but to me, Flash is a poorly written piece of software on every platform. It runs better on Windows than it does on Linux and Mac, but to me, it's a poorly written piece of software. So it just makes a great point. This is why the iPhone didn't support Flash in 2007. Because in 2010, they're still trying to get it to work on the other phones. Check it out. This is over on the iPhone blog. They got the details over there. I have to speed things up a little bit because we're running a little bit long. This next guy is, oh man, I don't know the term, but I feel sorry for him. Have you ever had to go do a friend a favor? And they're like, oh, can you go to the store and pick this up? Or, I'll give you the cash and can you use your credit card to purchase something? You're like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. So this guy, he went to buy an iPad for a friend at an Apple store. Oh boy. So, when he was walking out of the Apple store, this is kind of, oh man, turns your stomach a little bit. He was walking out of the store and he wrapped the bag around his hand with his fingers. The Apple bags, they have strings. Oh man, it's making me shake and tremble just talking about it. He was walking out of the store and some thieves / thugs snatched the bag out of his hand, taking not only the bag but ripped his finger off. Oh, and it wasn't even for him. The guy doesn't even like Apple products. He was doing it for a friend. Oh man, this is just sympathy 101. I feel sorry for this man. I mean, he did the right thing. I mean, when I walk out of Apple stores, I wrap it around my wrist and stuff. So if somebody tries to snatch it, they'll take me with me and they'll get a fist behind it. But oh man, they must have really snatched it hard for it to. I'm not going to get into details. They got videos which describes it. You just got to know that his finger was not in the same shape as it was when they attached and they took the bag. Oh, check it out. That was over on Engadget.com. Very squeamish, man. Very squeamish story. Poor guy, just trying to do a favor for a friend, and he lost a finger. Whew. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit to some iPhone games. Square Enix there. I just reviewed Final Fantasy 1. You can check out my Wana.tv channel or on YouTube. I got a Final Fantasy 1 review for the iPhone. The company behind that, Square Enix, has released a new game called Chaos Rings. This is another RPG that you can get for the iPhone. Looks pretty impressive. Looks pretty good. I was like, wow, this may be something I have to pick up. It's $12.99. Kind of a premium. Yeah. Kind of a premium price. Because it is going to be dumbed down. It's not going to be your full man. I don't know. I'm not gonna prejudge it, but I don't think it's going to be a full-fledged game that you expect to see like on a console. Maybe it may be on the same level as DS and PSP games, maybe, but probably not a full-fledged console. $12.99. But Square is also going to give us a discount. When I did my Final Fantasy review, the Final Fantasy game was $8.99. It's now $6.99 for Final Fantasy 1 and 2. All right. Crystal Defenders is now $5.99, and Sliding Heroes is now 99 cents. And the Final Fantasy 13 gallery price is also on sale. I forgot what the original price was. They don't list it here, but it was too much. I remember. It was basically background images from Final Fantasy 13. Check it out, guys. Square Enix has released some new products, some new stuff, and discounted items for you to peruse over. So check them out over there.
You're listening to Bawana.org Radio, a potpourri of tech news and reviews.
Now, we've been all over Infinity Ward about Modern Warfare 2. We've been all over them about the high price of their DLC. We were like, man, $15 for 5 maps, 2 of which are rehashes from COD 4. That's just too much money. That's just, whoa, man. What were they thinking? What's going on? Activision, you guys are evil. And then we think about DICE and EA and Battlefield. We're like, oh, yeah, they're giving us free DLC. Yay, EA. Yay, DICE. Yay, Battlefield Bad Company. Yay. Yeah, it's time to stifle those cheers and look at these guys with a stern, mean look. Because Battlefield Bad Company, guys, EA, DICE, have announced some DLC of their own. This is the first set of DLC that's going to be a paid DLC. It's a skin upgrade. On Wednesday, Xbox 360 players are going to have access to these skins. There are 4 kits, one for each class. Specific unique uniforms and camouflage weapons gives you a visual edge. Ooh, it sounds good, right? I mean, what good is a camouflage soldier if the gun sticks out like a sore thumb, right? Yeah, that's your ticket. Yeah. But check it out. You can get one of these kits each for 160 points, Microsoft points, or 440 Microsoft points for the entire thing. Now, based on my calculations on the latest point conversion, that's about $6, $5.50 for skins. $5.50 for skins. And we were all over Infinity Ward and Activision for giving us 5 maps for $15. These guys are giving us 4 skins for less, a little bit, like a third of that. Skins. They're not maps. They're skins. It's makeup. Oh. It's coming to Xbox 360 on Wednesday. It's going to be coming to PC and PS3 soon with no official announcement just yet. Now, they're going to be doing the Dr. Pepper promotion with this. So if you don't want to, you don't have to I don't know. From what I understand, they're going to be special promoted cans of Dr. Pepper which have codes that you can get these things from. And in Europe and the UK, you got to pay for them. So I got mixed feelings about it because North Americans are getting a good deal generally because you can get a can of soda or pop, and as some people say, for less than $1. But you got to find a place that sells them. So that means you got to go out searching for Dr. Pepper. If you hate Dr. Pepper, you're going to pour it out. But this stuff's coming to PC and PS3. Nobody knows for how much. Those of you in Europe and UK, it's so stupid. $5.50 for skins. For skins. Check it out, guys. This one's over on blogs.battlefield.ea.com. Their official blog. DLC coming your way from the folks at EA DICE. Now we're going to talk about another Battlefield game, Battlefield Heroes. This is more of good news. If you've been playing Battlefield Heroes, you know that it's a free game, kind of a web-based / game that you can get. It's getting an update. It's getting jetpacks, a new map, and a new game mode. So these guys are getting free stuff. Of course, you can get paid stuff through Battlefield Heroes. They have skins as well that you can buy and power-ups that you can buy. But it's a free game at its core. It's got the freemium type of model going on over there. But this is a new thing. They have a new map. It's a it's like a rocket. I don't know if it's King of the Hill / King of the Rocket type mode, but basically you have to guard this one area with a rocket, and I guess the person who guards it the longest wins. And they're going to have jetpacks and a map called Midnight Mayhem. The name of the mode is called V2 Vengeance, and players must battle to capture and control a giant rocket. So the content is available right now. You can go to Battlefield Heroes site. If you guys haven't signed up for Battlefield Heroes, it's pretty fun. I don't play it that often, but Battlefield Heroes is a pretty fun game. It's absolutely free. It's a step down in graphics and animations from the typical Battlefield games, but it's free, so you can check it out. New stuff, jetpacks, new map, and new game mode with Battlefield Heroes. Check it out. Now, speaking of DLC and Battlefield type games, MAG one of my favorite games that I'm playing on the PC right now, on the PS3 right now, it got a patch yesterday, on Monday. Version 1.05 came out, and this patch is live right now. This article was posted before it came out, but the patch is live right now. It will basically change the way leaders are selected before matches. If you know MAG, you know that you can apply for squad leader, you can apply for platoon leader, and you can apply for OIC, depending on how many leadership points you have. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to change the criteria on how they select the leader. And I applaud this. One of the criteria is that they're going to, they're going to look at your criteria and put you at a level and a queue. Say, okay, this person's first, second, third. If you have a microphone, you'll have a higher chance of being selected. That's a great idea. Because if you're a squad leader, a platoon leader, and an OIC without a mic, you're kind of crippling your team a lot. And also the leadership point total. Every time you're squad leader, every time you're platoon leader, every time you're OIC, you get an amount of leadership points. So that point count will also contribute. So people who are more experienced in these areas are going to be selected more often. This will encourage you to try to do it. Now, I got into squad leading before the patch, and I got to say it's sweet nectar. Oh, it's sweet goodness. If you play MAG and you haven't done squad leader yet, squash your fears. I was a little scared at first because they jump all over you if you mess up. Force yourself to mess up a couple times. Go in there as squad leader. It changes the game. It's almost a completely, totally different game when you actually get good at leading squads and leading platoons. And it's like I said, it's the sweet nectar, man. It tastes real good. Those experience points come rolling in, and you can't help but smile. Okay, they also fix some bugs. They repair the bug, prevents players from being incapacitated, blah, blah, blah. Hang up bugs for playing more. People who play a lot of hours like I do. I think I logged 10 rounds the other night, 30 minutes each, so that's a long time. People who play more than 15 consecutive rounds, sometimes they would get a crash. I got it the other night with 10 rounds. So hopefully they fix that. Some other stuff. Now, the biggest change, I think, other than the leadership stuff, is that they're adjusting the weapons. Pretty much all the weapons are getting touched. They're going to adjust the accuracy of the weapons. They're going to adjust the iron sights, and they're going to adjust the recoil. So there's going to be weapon adjustments all over the place. So that's the patch. And also, folks at Zipper have given us a teaser saying that they're going to announce some sort of DLC for MAG this week. Haven't got word on what that DLC is yet, what it's going to entail. A lot of people are hoping for maps. A lot of people are hoping for a new game mode. Some people are even hoping for a new PMC. But, I'm trying to get my hopes up too high. But if they come out with a new map, I think it's gonna bring in a lot more gamers. That seems to be the number one complaint with MAG, is that it needs more maps. So we're hoping that the DLC is not skins, like we saw with Bad Company 2. So check it out. That one's over on blog.mag.com. They got the details over there. So while we're on the concept of shooters and the topic of shooters, let's talk about Modern Warfare 2. Now, you can hate Modern Warfare 2, you can love it, but the fact remains that the game is still selling like hotcakes. According to this article on thedigitaltrends.com, Modern Warfare 2 has moved to the second best selling game of all times. Of all times. I'm the greatest fighter of all times. Modern Warfare 2 moves to the second best. And the game came out in November. Just recall, November, December, January, February, March, April. 5 months. And it's moved to the second best selling game of all time. Ugh, man. Wow. I was shocked. I was shocked. This is MPD. MPD doesn't account for all game sales, by the way, so it's probably a little bit under. MPD doesn't capture all the gaming outlets. There's only some. And We Play is the number one selling game of all time. And why is the number one selling game of all time? Because it's packaged with every Wii sold. So that puts We Play at number one. and it came bundled with a Wii controller. I'm sorry. I was going to say, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, they put an article here. It came with the Wii controller. I was thinking about Wii Sports. Wii Play is the ping pong and all that. That came with a Wii controller. A lot of people bought that with an extra controller. When you talk about games that aren't bundled with controllers, Modern Warfare 2 is the best selling game of all time. You can love it, you can hate it, but guys, it is the truthus, Rufus. Check it out. That one's over on the digitaltrends.com. You can check it out for yourself. Details, stuff, pictures of all times over there. Check it out. Now we're going to shift gears to some PC gaming stuff. A lot of PC gaming people in my community, including myself. I'm a big PC gamer. If you've been watching Justin.tv like I have, you've probably seen a lot of Splinter Cell Conviction streams. And it looks like a pretty good game. It's out on the Xbox 360 right now. But it's going to be coming out on the PC very, very soon. And I saw this article pop up today on Steam News. Very, very good news for those of you who are looking at buying it. If you pre-purchase Splinter Cell Conviction right now, you get the original Splinter Cell for free. They also have another pack for this one is actually, if you get the regular, is $59.99, and I believe the deluxe edition, which comes with some extra goodies, is like $64.99. And they have another pack, which sounds probably a little bit more attractive. For $75, you get every single Splinter Cell game that's on the PC. It's like, I think it's like 6 or 7 titles that you can get for $75. So that sounds like the better deal out of all of this. If you're going to spend $65, you might as well get the $75 and get all the rest. That's that. Now, this is good news if you're looking at the game, but I'm noticing a disturbing trend. And I was talking about this before the show. This game is priced at $59.99. This is a PC game that's priced at $59.99. Now, this was not common for normal PC games. $59.99 was probably like a deluxe or a collector's edition or something like that. Not the normal games. But we saw that with Modern Warfare 2, and it seems to be starting a very unhealthy trend. Hopefully this will stop. I mean, Battlefield Bad Company came out for $50. That was good to see. But these $59.99 titles, these PC games, why are they being... The consoles have a reason. You know, we talked about this a long, long time ago. You know, there's licensing and royalty fees that they calculate in there. That's how they justify the extra $10. PC games don't have that. So why are they $60? And some PC games that are coming out are even lesser quality or less flexible than past PC games. So you're paying more for less value. But that's a soapbox in itself. This $60 price tag thing is not cool at all. Not cool. Hopefully it won't continue. If anybody listens to my podcast who develops games on PC, listen. Stop charging $60. It's not good. We don't like it. We're going to stop buying your games if you do. We're going to keep playing Team Fortress 2. I'm going to talk about that later in the show. You can buy that for $5 some days. Some days you can get it for $20, $10, even free. I've given copies away here on Buana.tv and Buana.org radio. Stop charging $60. Check it out. This one's over on store.steampower.com. I got to keep moving. Now, let's shift gears to Blizzard. We've been talking about DLC and all this stuff and why people are paying $5 for skins. Well, Blizzard took it a step further. Oh, man. Blizzard said, man, $5 for a skin? Huh, we can do better. How about a horse? I'm on a horse. Look at your character. Look at me. Look at your horse. Look at this character. Now look at this horse. This horse sells for $25 on World of Warcraft. Now look at me. Look at your game. Look at your character. Look at me. Dude. An armored horse, which apparently gives you some buffs, which apparently works on all your characters. It's a pretty sweet horse. It's a digital horse. For $25. Oh, man. That's halfway towards a game. A PC game of $59. StarCraft 2 is coming out, man. Save that $25. Ooh-wee. $25. Now, you may think that's a lot, right? But check out the next story. Ooh. They made $2 million in 4 hours off of this horse. I'm on a horse. Look at me. Look at your pocketbook. Look at me. $25 are now missing. $2 million in 4 hours. Man, what did you? So, you gotta think about it, guys. Maybe we just don't know what we're talking about. Maybe this addiction thing to these games is a little bit more than what we know. Is it time to give up and say, well, we are in the age of nickel and diming, where every little aspect is going to cost you some money. Look at me. Look at your horse. Look at your horse now. Look at your pocketbook. It's missing $25. I'm on a horse. This celestial steed. The download queue was 80,000. This horse is redonkulous. Check it out. That one's over on oneup.com. They got the details. The other story, I forgot the link, but it's in the, just crazy. 20, man. Check it out. Now, let's get to some great news. All this bad news is making me depressed.
Sad one is sad.
Let's talk about some good stuff. Team Fortress 2. Woo, boy. Buona has went on about 10,000 soapboxes with Team Fortress 2 on this topic. This has to do with the drop system. This is where weapons and hats and things drop. Valve recently introduced a crafting system to TF2. I'm trying to talk slow because I'm excited about this. They introduced a crafting system to TF2. Now, the frustrations from players, everybody who's played TF2, including myself, is that the items weren't dropping fast enough. The items took forever. I would, personally, I would go a month, playing probably 10 to 20 hours of TF2 in a month. I would go a month without one dropped item, without one weapon. And the crafting system is designed to take these items and combine them into scrap metal. And, the typical MMO crafting system is being utilized here. So Valve heard our cries, and they're today implementing a new system. Instead of rolling random intervals that you get an item, now we roll to determine when your next item will drop. So you're guaranteed to find items at fairly regular intervals. The bulk of drop complaints we received in the past have been from players who have had unlucky streaks where they didn't find any items for weeks. That's me. That won't be possible now. We've significantly increased the rate at which item drops occurs compared to the previous average interval. Good stuff. There's now a maximum amount of playtime per week, blah, 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 blah. Now, they're going to punish idlers. Now, if you sat on idle servers to get items, you no longer can get items that way. If you're an idler, you're going to find fewer items than you were prior to this change. Sorry, on the bright side, there's less reason to idle because it won't earn players who are playing regularly. Everyone else will find items more frequently and with greater regularity. So it's good news, guys. The crafting system to me was useless before because I would never get anything, and it was just ridiculous. But now, yes, you got good reason to play Team Fortress 2! Yeah, gonna be playing tonight probably after the show to see if this thing goes live. Hopefully it'll go live before I produce this episode and upload it. We're gonna check it out and see if we get more items I can start crafting and get some more hats in TF2. Check it out, guys. This is over on TF2's blog. They got the details over there. Now, some more good news on the PC gaming front. We talked a lot about bad news, but TF2 kind of lifted our spirits a little bit. Now we're going to talk about StarCraft 2. Now, I made a vow that I wasn't going to buy StarCraft 2 because I was too addicted to StarCraft 1. Well, Tiddlywinks of the community, he seduced me. He said, "Buona, here's a beta key for you. You can do with it whatever you like. You can give it away. You can use it." I'm looking at the key going, I'll probably give it away in a cold sweat. Long story short, StarCraft 2 is installed and I've been playing it. I've been playing against the AI, trying to learn it a little bit. But from my experiences, guys, the game is looking very good, very polished. improvements over the first. It's going to be a big hit. It's going to be a huge hit. I don't know if it's going to be bigger than WoW, but it's going to be a huge hit. This story I'm talking about now, a map editor is coming to the beta this week, and a Mac beta is coming later. So you'll be able to create your own maps. Another good thing about these RTSs on PC platforms is, they embrace the community in terms of customizations, and map editors is one of those. Now, the upcoming patch should help you to stir your blah blah blah, adding the Galaxy editor for beta users. So if you guys are into StarCraft 2, you've been playing, you'll be happy to know you'll get a map editor. And like I said, the game is very, 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 very polished. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I've been watching gameplay. I've been learning a lot on Justin.tv. A lot of people may have their own little mini tournaments. I think Tim at multiboxing.com. He's been commentating. They got a commentating feature where you can host matches and you commentate. It looks like a real tournament. Very, very cool stuff. Check it out, guys, over at joystick.com. They got details over that. Now, are you guys into Star Wars? Let me show you something. No, I can't show you. It's way over there. I have a little Darth Vader piggy bank that I like. I'm big time into Star Wars. I've been listening to Star Wars audiobooks. And I was happy to see that Star Wars will be making its way to Blu-ray. Yeah, George Lucas has announced that they've been working on this for a couple of years. Let me move my phone. We got some little buzz action here. Been working on this for a couple of years, and it says it's going to be a Blu-ray with a lot of extra material. They're not going to call it the Ultimate Set because he's, George Lucas. He always likes to change stuff. So if you're into Star Wars and you got a Blu-ray player, you don't want to check this out. It's going to be coming out very, very soon. This article's over on cinematical.com. They got the details over there. Linux users, I don't talk to you guys very often, but I do have a lot of Linux people listening to this show. I used to talk a lot more about Linux, but ever since I got the Mac OS X, I've been talking less and less about it because I get my Unix fix over there. But Synaptics, it's the guys behind the touchpads, they got some good news for you. They're extending their multi-touch gesture suite to Linux. Yeah. Check it out. You're going to have pinch to zoom. You're going to have other little gestures that you can do. Very similar to what Apple has on their platform. So if you are a Linux buff and you want this stuff, you have a touchpad. Pretty much Synaptics, I think, supports just about everything out there. It's going to support various flavors of Linux, including Fedora, Ubuntu, Red Flag, SUSE, Zandros, yada, yada, yada. Even Chrome OS. They're going to be getting this support from Synaptics. Very, very good news for those of you who wanted multi-touch support on the Linux OS. Check it out. This may help Linux a whole lot in the mainstream front of having this feature. You can do a lot of cool stuff with multi-touch. And Gadget has a scoop. Check it out. Over there. And finally, we're going to end it for our Gmail buffs out there. That's me. I like Gmail. I love Gmail. Gmail has added the support for drag and drop attachments. Very, very cool stuff. Now I've gotten so used to this in Outlook that I find myself doing it in Gmail without first realizing it. Because for my job, when I send emails and I have an attachment, I usually just drag and drop the attachment to the email compose box and boom, it pops it in there. That spoiled me. When I go to Gmail, I can't do it. Now I can. They have an area in Gmail where you can drag and drop files and it will add them as attachments. Very, very cool stuff. They're enabling this for other browsers as soon as they support this feature, but for now, you can only do it in Chrome and Firefox. So if you're using like Opera, or if you're using something else, Conqueror on Linux, Safari, I'm not even going to mention that IE one, which I just did. If you're using those, it's not supported just yet, but it is supported in Chrome and Firefox. Check it out, guys. This one's over on the Google System Blogspot, Google Operating System blog. They got the details over there. And that concludes episode 246 of Bwana.org Radio. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at live.bwana.tv and at justin.tv/Bwana. We're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday night. About 8:30 p.m. Eastern is when we get started. And we have a lot of fun. We talk about stuff in the chat. After the show, we have a post-show kind of a show. We talk about the title, talk about the content a little bit while I do my post-production. So come by. If you're not doing anything, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I want to thank everybody for coming by. Is the chat and the stream. Thank you very much. And that concludes episode 246 of BDOR Radio. And I will see you next time.